the wedding pictures that she had posted. So there's no debate here. They are not friends, obviously. Okay, fine. Your friendships end, again, not the biggest deal. So then, faster than anyone could have possibly predicted, they just rolled out the new comment section without Brett Cooper, and it seemed like Reagan very much was behaving identical to Brett, and it was not good. The market just rejected the show. And I'm not talking about like, maybe give it some time and we'll warm up to it. I mean, I am talking a firm 90% viewership dip. That just seems to get worse every single week. So I'm just showing you really quickly here. These were the views when Brett Cooper was the host of the comment section. You can see she was basically, I would say, averaging 500,000 views, and then she was hitting 1 million views or 2 million views on certain videos. And here are the views today. Here is the snapshot today. So, you know, high end would be 54,000 views is the highest I can see on this screenshot. Low end, 19,000 views. That was posted 16 hours ago. So maybe we're averaging 30,000 views per an episode. Okay, that's a huge dip. As I said, market has responded, the market has answered, the market has said no. And not everything that you put out as a company works out. And that's just a true thing. You take a lot of risk, and sometimes that risk does not pay off. For an example, when I was at the Daily Wire, I was doing these cooking show segments, and people did not like it. I thought my food was good. People did not want to see Candace cooking. They just want to see Candace spilling the tea. They want to see Candace talking about a variety of topics. Fine, we just dumped it. Your job as a CEO when you're leading a company is you pivot, right? So you try something, bring it to the market responds. You either expand it because you got it right, or you shut it down when you get it wrong. More than anything in a leadership position, your role is to simply adapt to the market, okay? Not to blame the market and tell the market that it's wrong, just to simply adapt. So fast forward to this past month, and I start getting some really strange, specific calls from journalists, okay? So first, my PR person is informed at the end of last year, and this is exactly what was told to us, you know, in January, there's going to be a big puff piece. This leak to us came from The Hollywood Reporter. It was a reporter at The Hollywood Reporter who was speaking about another reporter who was being put on what he described as a puff piece on Ben Shapiro. Why are we getting this phone call? Because, Candace, you're going to be included in it. Why am I being included in this? Doesn't make any sense. Whatever, we get a weird phone call asking me questions about Brett Cooper. And I'm just like, I literally want nothing to do with this, okay? So on January 13th, they ran this article, Hollywood Reporter, how Ben Shapiro conquered the MAGAverse. Okay. All right, Seth Abramovich, okay? But buried in this article, first, of course, mandatory paragraph, stab at Candace Owen, she's Hitler, Adolf Hitler, second coming of. And then suddenly, like a little dig on Brett Cooper, kind of trying to maybe throw a little mud. Now, this came from the reporter, but he wrote, conservative social media users theorized that Cooper's Israel-Hamas opinions got her fired, but Cooper's camp dismisses this. Now, no one theorized that. If they did, it was such a small pocket of the internet. Maybe you saw a tweet or two. Nobody in that entire explosion of Brett Cooper leaving the Daily Wire was speaking about Israel and Hamas. Like, that's was not the theme on the internet. So I found that to be extraordinarily strange that I was then being asked about her Groyper tweet, a Groyper's tweeting about her. I'm like, she's a 23-year-old girl. She's got nothing to do with this. And why are you trying to combine us in this piece? It was weird. Okay, whatever, let it go. I gave one comment, like I basically don't know what you're talking about. 4 days later, I get contacted again. 4 days later, I'm contacted by The Spectator. Similar angle, trying to push this idea that Brett Cooper might be anti-Semitic like Candace. Now, it's The Spectator, so we know whoever's leaking this to The Spectator's gossip column is obviously a boomer, okay? Like, she is Gen Z, TikToker, famous, okay? Like, this is not making it in the circles. This is like old school PR. Let's contact my contact at The Spectator and get them to run this about Brett Cooper. And I refused to participate in this because it's just so grimy to me to have a girl whose life is just beginning. She just got married. She's 23 years old.
Still can't believe that you picked up how to say mom.
Okay? Let her move on in her life. Why are we trying to throw dirt on her name for something that we know is so objectively not true? Here's the title of the article that's just talking about how, like, in your face this was. It was entitled, "What's Going On Between Brett Cooper and Candace Owens?" The answer's nothing. There's nothing. But again, they're just trying to essentially dirty her name, realizing Candace is dealing with the entire ADL attacking her and calling her anti-Semitic. Wouldn't it be great if we just, like, threw a little bit of that on Brett Cooper too? So before she even starts her show. And what was really strange about it, it was the same exact pattern. So when I left Daily Wire, all of these journalists were writing basically about my Twitter likes. They were like, Candace liked to post saying that Jews drink Christian blood. Obviously, it was not true. I was liking a post that had more in that. And then the person made a joke, are you drunk on Christian blood? Rabbi Shmuley, like that's the context. But then all of these accounts start sharing that Candace thinks Jews drink Christian blood. So it was the same thing that was now being done to Brett Cooper. It was hyper-focusing on a like, because Brett Cooper, who likes all of my posts, because we work together, I like all of her posts, I like all of Matt Walsh's posts, I like Michael, like, if it comes across my feed, I just like it. And she liked a post, which was a wrap-up, like an annual wrap-up of everything that we did. And in that post, buried in it, was me speaking about my view on Palestine and Israel. So they're taking a like and translating it into Brett Cooper is an anti-Semite, okay? And this is what's in that Spectator article. Look at this. Cooper liking Owens' post raised questions. Does Cooper agree with Owens' take on the war in Gaza? Could this be tied to her departure from the Daily Wire? And does she plan to collaborate with Owens moving forward? And Brett responds, says, I like many of my friends' Instagram posts because we're friends. I'm unsure why liking my friend's end-of-year post a month ago is international news. But this reporter keeps pushing. He asks whether Cooper's like of Owens' post was a reflection of a change in her stance on Gaza or an act of post-wire solidarity. She again says, when a friend's post comes across my feed, I like them as friends do. So this really gives me the ick. I'm just saying this really gives me the ick. Later on in the article, a moment comes, and again, nobody saw this article, A, because it was behind a paywall. I only saw it because they asked me to participate in it. And I'll tell you what I said to the article, by the way. Like, this is my exact quote. I said, Candace Owens is too pregnant to comment. I'm not getting involved in this. It's petty. It should be beneath everybody. Whoever's orchestrating this from behind, it's ridiculous.
We know who's
then
doing
it.
it.
On to kind of this weird moment where Jeremy gives a comment and he says, a year ago, Brett told me if she were to ever leave the comment section, that Reagan should be her replacement. Daily Wire, the CEO of Jeremy Boring.
Go ahead.
Daily Wire co-CEO Jeremy Boring told Cockburn.
Do you need to go potty?
6 months later, Brett said she wanted to leave, and I realized that she was right. Reagan, in addition to being the producer of comment section for 2 years, is a huge talent and a great choice to carry on the show. But look at Cooper's response to this. She responds and says, I did not select Reagan. So you have two comments that are completely at odds with one another. She is not saying much, but she's disputing what he has said here. And it just sort of dies on the internet because I'm not sharing this article. I don't care about this article. And I think it's weird. The timing of this article is weird, okay? This brings us now to today, or this week rather, is what I should say, and this video that starts circulating. So now you have 4 days later, January 17th, Brett directly disputed Jeremy's narrative in a piece. Nobody saw it. It's behind a paywall, whatever. Gen Z doesn't read this stuff anyways. Fast forward to this week, and you have a moderator on a Twitter community. I didn't even know that you could have a Twitter community. I didn't even know that Twitter had this function. And the community is called Daily Wire Fan Club. And they released this, okay?
Okay, I hear you. I'm going to take you outside.
It's extremely upsetting and distressing.
Is that what you want to do? Is go outside?
Brett can't be bothered to defend Reagan Conrad, especially since Brett recommended her as a replacement for the host of the comment section to Jeremy Boring. I only hope Brett eventually releases a statement of some kind to combat the vicious rumors. Now, parking aside, first off, this is very clearly an account that's pretending to be a man.
One
no
second.
Man starts,
yes.
A tweet, but it's extremely
Yes. Okay, Jesus.
If you are the grown
Please don't hit me in the head with your bone.
In that photo, you need to get a life.
Yeah, I don't have any more of those bones because you buried two of them and they're $13 a piece and I can't afford to go get any more right now.
A bad friend, and I'm going, what's happening here? So I watched this video.
I'm
and
almost done.
apparently, I'll give you the context.
Just got
here.
a couple more
Jeremy
of these to
Boring,
do.
CEO,
Hold on.
CEO of Daily Wire,
Give me 1 second, baby. Wait.
And I think it is very fair to categorize it as extraordinarily passive-aggressive. Okay, so I'm watching and I'm going, is it just me or does this just seem off? Like something here is just off. And it turns out the entire internet read it exactly that way. And it's now everywhere and people are commenting on how off it really is. And so to tee this up, I don't know why he's answering questions. This could be, we used to do this thing like sort of you get to ask us questions, but it's usually for the host. But I don't know the context of whether this is an all access live, but somebody
all right, you ready?
Asked him a question about mean comments and mean feedback that Reagan Conrad was getting on her show. And, you know, the show is not taking off, sort of a thing. So he answers it, and I'm paraphrasing here, by saying, well, actually, he explicitly says, Reagan is amazing, and also the comment section was not Brett's. Essentially, we created the show at the Daily Wire. Brett is tremendously talented. He says she's talented, she's great, she made the show her own, but also it was successful because of our marketing department, essentially. Like, it's not
you
just
need to go
Brett's,
outside and
it's
go
ours.
potty?
And by the way, Reagan
Is that what you
produced
want?
the show and also helped to write it. Okay, so I'm now going to cut to this YouTuber named
Is this
The
what you want to go
Quartering,
outside?
who
Or do you want a
goes
treat?
through what it is exactly
like you
that
want a
Jeremy
treat.
says in this video, so that you can just assess. Like, I think honestly, The
You're not
Quartering,
gonna get any
every
more
thought that
pig's
I had
ears,
in my
though.
brain watching it, he kind of just said it. Here you go. Here's the first thing.
What Reagan hasn't done is taking acting classes to be more like Brett Cooper. That is just completely absurd, and it's hurt my feelings a little bit that Brett hasn't done more to defend her friend.
Whoa. Whoa. So now, you know, guy worth $100 million with $1 billion company is saying that Brett Cooper hurt his feelings because she
His
hasn't
fifis.
defended Reagan, who is not Jeremy Boring, is not related to Jeremy Boring, has nothing to do with Jeremy. Why is his feelings hurt? He's like trying to guilt her into
All right,
making
well,
some sort of
I'm gonna
statement
go.
promoting her old show, which she has
I don't feel like being online. I'm just gonna sit here
no
and
obligation to do.
lollygag. I love you guys. Nikki, text message me if you want.
And so the
We can knit together.
seem like presently
I also really want to talk to Barefoot.